2030, roughly 45% of women in the US will be single, let alone the whole world. And the reason why is quite shocking. After spending a decade studying and implementing strategies with thousands of women across the world, they realize by the end that meeting a committed, masculine-minded man does not have to feel like a game of luck or something they are praying for and hoping lands. Ladies, buckle in. I'm going to show you the quickest steps to find that committed masculine man in 180 days, how to implement those steps effortlessly, and all without feeling like you're rushing into things with him too quickly. Exactly how to stop dealing with trauma-filled, uncommitted guys and finally be able to meet a masculine man who is mature, grounded, ready to lead, who will choose you with clarity and the steps you need to take, the order you must take them in, and how to execute them so you can find committed love in less than 180 days. So today, I'm going to show you exactly how to turn dead-end dating on its head and begin to experience committed and devoted love. Step number 1, no clarity, no commitment. Have you ever had one of those moments where you decided this would be the year you met your husband, but somehow you met everyone except him? I call this the almost alignment trap, where you're at a point to settle down again and find that man. You just can't seem to stumble into the ones who are serious. I have a story about a client, a young lady called Asia. She is a beautiful woman with a PhD and everything going for her. She was ready to be a wife, but kept dating men who would not commit. They showed interest in her, gave her attention, but never anything truly meaningful. When she came to me, she was ready to do the work. The first thing we did was get clear on what she really wanted. Not what she thought she should want, but what was true for her core needs, her desires, her non-negotiables. Now, I'm not going to go through this in great detail because we'd be here for hours, but the simplified version is most of what we think we want is conditioned. It is influenced by fear, past experiences, and what we think is realistic rather than what is actually aligned. It took time to work through this properly with Asia because it requires raw honesty. But here is how you can begin today. Write a list of everything you have ever wanted in a man. Do not filter it. Do not judge it. If you removed guilt, fear, or shame, what would you truly want? Leave the list for a day or two. Then come back to it with fresh eyes. Now, reduce it by half. This part can feel uncomfortable because it forces you to distinguish between what you think you should want and what you genuinely need. Ask yourself, if it was just the two of us in the world, what would matter most? If no one could judge my choice, who would it be? Once you have reduced the list, separate it into 3 categories: non-negotiables, core needs, and desires. I promise you, if you do this task properly and spend some time, you would begin to attract committed men just as quickly as Asia. Reason being, clarity is where everything begins. When you are clear, you stop dating randomly and start recognizing alignment. Without clarity, you were simply hoping to meet someone. With clarity, you know exactly what you are looking for, and you'll start seeing it clearer in public and on dating apps. If you find you are attracting men who are not aligned, the mismatch will point to any work you need to do on yourself. Rather than general healing work, you can be more specific and thorough on your end. This will be the most powerful position for meeting a committed, ready man. Here's the lesson. Clarity is where everything begins. When you are clear, you stop dating randomly and start recognizing alignment. Without clarity, you are simply hoping to meet someone. With clarity, you know exactly what you are looking for, what you will accept, and vibrate at the frequency of that which you desire. Step 2, the wrong life will always attract the wrong man. When you take a conscious look at your life, you may realize that you are living a life that was assigned to you rather than one you chose. And that will always affect the kind of man you attract. I call this step the alignment before attachment framework. Diane had always wanted to be a Pilates teacher. She was in the military, which gave her stability, but it was not aligned with who she truly was. We worked through the key areas of her life, spiritually, health, work, relationships, and purpose. What became clear was her desire to build a life around wellness and movement. She made the decision to pursue her Pilates path. It was not easy, but it was honest. While she was at a Pilates training retreat for her certification, she was now aligned with her truest life. And out of the blue, a man she had casually dated suddenly reconnected with her. They were finally on the same timeline. This time, everything was different because she was no longer trying to make a man her world and living more authentically. She was able to clearly express what she wanted, marriage, children, in the near future. He agreed. They got engaged 2 weeks later and married shortly after. Today, they have a beautiful family, something she hardly believed was possible. This framework doesn't have to be dramatic, turn your life upside down, or take long at all. It simply starts with being brave and honest about the life that brings you joy, the life you are postponing, and even tiny steps towards it will have massive magnetic impact on who you attract. So here's the lesson. When you build a life that feels full and aligned, you stop seeking a man to complete you. You begin to invite a man into your life that already has direction. That is where committed men step in. They're drawn to women who have a life they respect, not a life that revolves around finding them. Okay? Step 3. You're not unlucky in love. You're simply unaware. Do you know that only a small percentage of people are truly self-aware? Paula came to me after 2 failed marriages. She came from a family where marriage worked, but for her, never did. She could not understand why. When we worked together, it became clear that she was unconsciously choosing differently from her parents without understanding why. Her decisions were not intentional. They were reactive. Once she became aware of her patterns, her beliefs, and her triggers, absolutely everything changed. She began making decisions from clarity instead of emotion. She set boundaries without fear. When she met the man who is now her husband, she did not fight for him when an old love came back into his life, claiming a place in his heart. She gave him space, set clear expectations, and remained grounded. He chose her, proposed to her with the Tiffany ring she had always wanted, and married her in a romantic Caribbean location. This doesn't have to be Paula's story. It can be yours if you would dare become the woman who knows you best. Self-awareness changes everything. When you understand yourself, you stop repeating the same patterns. You make better choices, you hold better standards, and you stop losing yourself in relationships. A woman who knows herself becomes very difficult to overlook. Remember that. Step 4, stop waiting to be found. Start being seen properly. You can do all the inner work. If you do not position yourself properly, results will take too long and you're likely to lose heart. Finding and creating a committed relationship relies on momentum that exists when you reveal yourself to the world with this new framework. You still have to be seen and chosen after all. The story of Queen Esther shows us this clearly. She was destined to be queen, but she still had to prepare. She still had to position herself. She still had to present herself before the king. The man you want is not average. He's likely successful, respected, and has options. He's not choosing randomly. He is assessing value. So you need to understand what that kind of man values. Where does he spend his time? What stage of life is he in? What qualities is he looking for in a woman? Then you look at your life, your values, and what you are becoming. If there is alignment, the next step is to place yourself in the right environments. You cannot be chosen if you are not seen, darling. Preparation and positioning matter. The more intentional you are about where you go, how you show up, the faster the right man can find you. So here is the truth. The number of single women is rising. Not because there are no good men, but because many of us are still dating with an outdated playbook. A playbook written for a different world, a slower world, a smaller world, a world where your options were limited, where your environment was fixed, and marriage was more about survival than it was about love, alignment, and fulfillment. But that is not the world you are dating in today. The game has changed, but most women are still playing by old rules. And the women who will be part of the 55% who are coupled by 2030 will not be the ones waiting, hoping, or guessing their way into love. They will be the women who upgraded how they think, how they choose, and how they position themselves. So let me leave you with this, darling. Finding a committed man is not, I repeat, not about luck. It is not about chasing. It is not about being chosen by chance. It is about clarity. It is about alignment. And it's about self-awareness. And it is about positioning. Because when you become clear, when you build a life that actually reflects who you are, when you understand yourself deeply, and when you place yourself in the right environments, you stop hoping for love and you start becoming the woman it naturally finds. Now, here is what most women still get wrong. Even when you meet the right man, many women lose the connection because they do not understand how to maintain attraction and build emotional attachment over time. So you can meet him, but still lose him if you do not know what to do next. If you're ready to do this properly and want guidance step by step, then follow the link in the description and join my Soulmate Lux program. This is where we take everything I have taught you today and apply it to your specific situation so you can move from dating to commitment with clarity and confidence. I hope you enjoyed this video and I will see you in my next one. In the meantime, do take care of you. Love you lots.